So, welcome back, you guys.
Is it supposed to be black? This
Time
screen?
to die.
No, it's not supposed to be black.
Oh,
Yeah,
I need to go scroll down.
yeah. So, thanks to our lovely little Rory here, we had to postpone this for over a month.
It was not just my fault that it was a month, okay?
well,
There was more than one person involved.
like it was your fault we left on a cliffhanger.
Well, sorry.
What did you have to do? Oh yeah, you
I had to go to work.
Yeah, she had to go to work.
Yeah.
So let me bring it back up to date. What the fuck is going on? So,
Everybody's gonna die.
Amelia has successfully
Successfully.
successfully made Billy Bob a robot. And long story short, Rory, you seem kind of interested about him, but a little bit intimidated because he's almost as tall as you. But nonetheless, you guys had a nice introduction, and Amelia, your mother, was looking for you. She was in Nook and Cranny. You went to Nook and Cranny. You found out that she was starting a food fight or a food war that no one was participating in except for
more like
herself.
A food massacre.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No one was participating in it except for herself. So it was odd.
Your mom was just attacking people with food.
Yes, pretty much. And she stood upon a pile of food which she claimed as her throne. Um, anyways, she called you over because she had a message for you. Andrade has sent you a message, but was a private little message, so that only you can read. And you read it, and he is aware of your absence, and has offered to give you study with you in order to give you some help on this upcoming test that you have not prepared for. So, so you brought Rory, you brought Billy Bob to Andrade's home, and upon reaching Andrade's home, you learned or noticed that he had a little bit of cuts and bruises on his hands, which turned out to be that he was cleaning and cooking. Uh, Later realized something different, but I'll get to that later. You guys studied for a moment, and
She's trapped in the circle.
you were doing quite well before Adrad gave Rory a red pendant filled with a garnet in it. If I'm correct.
Yes.
At first, the garnet didn't seem to be able to do anything, so Jesus. Adrad went to look at his books and start reading, seeing if he's did something wrong. Rory, you were curious, and you peeked over and you learned that this is the necromancy book that you guys have found before that, well, just brings nothing but evil to you. So you immediately took it from Adrad and tossed it into a fire. In which case, the gem seemed to have taken effect, and Rory was fully mind controlled, or at least delusioned. Everything she was seeing was not of reality.
It wasn't real.
Yeah, but she couldn't tell the difference. Amelia, you were immediately attacked by Ajad. He summoned imps to attack you, and Billy Bob instantly took it dashed in to defend you. Rory, who was being mind controlled, started fighting Billy Bob and was able to dismember Billy Bob
I'm sorry.
just by taking off his arm. Long story short, you guys were defeated, and Amelia, you woke up tied to a bed. Now, the thing about this bed was it was very disgusting. It felt wet, and it smelled horrible. And you looked to your right, and you saw a dead elf. Chest ripped open, organs harvest.
God.
And then you realize that the ickiness is coming from the blood, and you looked and tilted your head a bit, and you noticed that you were tied on top of another body that you cannot seem to identify since you are currently laying on top of it. Uh, in Rory's eyes, you have been damaged, and a healer has taken note of you and has been curing you for the time being. Oh, that's why my computer just, or my laptop just shut down again. It's because of the mouse pad kind of thing. But anyways, here we are, once more. Adrad has stated that he has learned from this book to make a being that is filled up of multiple things, creatures. And the book told him that why spread your love between these three when you could just make a single entity into one? So he has left you two in this room by yourselves.
Lovely.
You have 15 minutes, real time, to try to break Rory out of this disillusion. Starting now.
I'm standing over her, right?
Yes, and you're kind of crying. In your mind, you're crying, but in reality, she is not.
Wait. Whatever. Shit. My brain farts. Can I try to talk Roy out of? Do I know that she's under a spell right now?
Again, you've looked up in the books, because once Mardrad was teaching you that the garnet stone is more like it's a charming stone when imbued with magic.
Am I able to move? No.
You can move your head, and that's about it.
Can I try to talk Roy out of this spell or whatever?
Your hand.
Talk sense into.
Your hand. Yeah. What do you say?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice cue. I think it's perfect.
Shit. Roy, snap out of it. Wait, so, can I, is she actually crying?
No, she's standing in front of you, just looking down at you.
And I'm like, Roy, what are you doing? Get me out of here. I'm trying to snap her out of it.
Okay, Rory, make a perception check. So roll a d20.
Oh, there goes all the dice. Well, your blue dice is everywhere, Albert.
Thanks.
20.
Nope.
Oh. Nope.
Doesn't hear you. She just
Oh my god!
kind of stares back at you with these.
Oh, your fault, Roy.
So obviously you can tell that she's charmed. It was because you dropped the dice that she got a natural one, so it's all your fault. So obviously she is being charmed. You can tell by the color of her eyes. Her eyes are no longer yellow as they once were. They are now currently red to symbolize the garnet color, like a very burgundy. Burgundy is more appropriate. Rory, in your mind, Amelia is currently resting, and she seems very peaceful. But for this whole time, you pretty much felt helpless towards her. Mm-hmm. So would you like to do anything?
Can I bend down and hug her? I'm scared to do this.
So, in your mind, you kneel down, and you just hug her, right? You hold her in between your arms, and you can feel her heartbeat beat against your chest. And once more, she's not moving, and she feels cold. Amelia, you see Rory reach her hand out and just brush your forehead ever so gently and says something you don't understand.
Okay. I'm gonna, like, how I spastically try to get out of what gunk I am in. Just like
Okay.
try to get out.
Make a strength check.
20?
Yeah. So you struggle, and it's not breaking loose. You felt a little bit of a nudge, but these bindings are tied very, very tightly around you.
To myself, I'm gonna die.
And you can feel the rope wrapping around your hand, almost giving you like a little bit of cuts and almost like a burns a bit.
Still trying to struggle.
Yep.
The whole time I'm just like trying to wiggle out.
Well, you're not getting through.
I don't sense that at all.
No, and
I feel like that would be a ruckus type thing.
Yeah. No, because in her mind she is just hugging you and you are feeling cold. 10 minutes, you guys.
Your turn on.
I don't know what to do. See, you say that, but see, in my mind...
Wait, what'd you say? Sorry.
She said her life's in my hands, but
Oh.
like... But my mind is a little loose, and I don't know how to fix that. What would I be doing? I don't know. I could only just see Rory be like crying, freaking out, and trying to like, I don't know, beg her to wake up or something.
Okay.
Shake her.
Roll.
I'm scared to do that.
Roll a d20. Very quick.
Don't kill me. Hey, double ones.
Okay, so Amelia, you look at Rory as you're struggling, and you see a single tear roll down the side of her cheek as she continues to just pet your head.
Like actually, like an actual tear.
Yes.
Okay.
And once more, she's speaking in a language you don't understand.
Didn't the Garnet also have the ability to like make me understand? Oh, is it just that I understand people?
No, you understand the owner, which is Adrad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay, so like.
So her hand.
Yeah, and I'm just like.
Yep.
Why is she crying? What is happening? And I try talking to her, and I was like, oh, hold on. I'm like, Roy's out of it. I try to struggle more, yelling at her.
Make a quick intelligence check.
Me?
Yes. So charm effects tend to break when there's harm involved. So like physical trauma.
No, you need to hit me.
You're currently tied down.
Well,
Her hand is on your head. Her hand is on your head, petting you.
Can she reach it and bite it?
I was gonna say, can I fight it?
You make an attack roll.
Fingers crossed. Oh my god.
So as Rory's petting your forehead, just going side to side, eventually she brushes your hair ever so slightly to be moved out of the way, and with that very instant, you lunge your head forward and you bite her pinky. Make a wisdom saving throw with advantage, Rory.
What is that?
So roll 2d20s. Yeah, 2d20s. And you get the higher one. You need to beat a 15. Nope.
God damn it.
Wow, this is a really strong charm effect.
You needed to beat a 15, and you got a 7. So, so you bite her pinky, and she pulls back ever so slightly, and then she says something you don't understand, and just looks back at you, Rory. And in your mind, you saw a little insect crawl between your hands and bite your palm.
I flick it away, like, just.
All right, Rory flicks your nose.
Ow.
I think Roy will just go into mental breakdown mode. Like, why is this happening? I didn't want this to happen. Why? I like you. I wanted to keep going on things with you. Blah blah blah, dumb shit like that. Crying
I can't
harder.
understand it.
Okay, so make another charisma roll. So D20, just one D20.
Me?
Mhm.
Why?
Oh my God.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, you guys got 5 minutes. What else you guys gonna do?
Amelia's turn.
Her hand is no longer.
Okay.
No. She flinched back afterwards.
Struggling more.
Make a strength.
I got a 19.
19. Okay, you're like, no, that was supposed to work. and you managed to get your right hand free of the bindings.
You should just slap me across the face.
I'm gonna punch her.
Okay, roll with disadvantage because you're still kind of held back. So, which one's the lower one?
Okay. I had a 20. And I'm set. I'm set.
Well, that missed. You punch her abdomen. Or you lean over, you punch her abdomen, and you pull back. Ah!
Slap my face.
Maybe your face had more. Oh, I can't reach it.
Yeah.
Damn.
which is why
Keep doing it.
which is why I said her abdomen.
Can I sit next to her on the
happened?
what seems like just a bed to me?
In your mind, you see her laying on this bed. You could lay on the opposite side, but there's a person there. And if you don't really want to disturb her side because she just needs her rest, you know.
Okay, so then I'm gonna crouch down and kneel
And do what?
and hold her hand or something like that. Yes.
Okay, make another charisma roll. So D20.
Just one D20.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yes.
Ooh.
So Rory
That's a high number I love.
Rory kneels down, and once more tears are shedding out of her face, and she cups your left hand, which is the closest hand, and starts speaking in words you don't understand.
Can I pick her hand that's on my left with my right, pull it, and bite it?
Okay. I
pull my hair or something else.
no, she already said it, so go for it. What'd you roll?
20.
A natural 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that she grabs your hand, and you're like, that's not what you no. You pull her arm, and you just take a huge chunk, and you can feel some blood spew into your mouth, but you're like, I need to do this.
Ew.
All right, so Rory, you will take, since that was a natural 20. What's your strength, Amelia? You take 3 points of damage. Ow. Oh, the pain. But go ahead and go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw with advantage. 2d20s. You need to beat a 15.
Please, please, please. Yes.
You just got 15. Wow. So 14. So you picked the higher one, which is 14, and you have a +1 in wisdom. So you just break it. So with that single bite, you flinch backwards. You're like, ah! And you look down and you see Amelia bounded to this bed, laying on top of 2 dead bodies with blood coming out of her mouth. And you can recognize it's your blood. And you just see, she spits it out. And you just see a smile across her face.
I'm gonna hug her.
Okay, you hug her.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
Seems like she's smiling.
Take the necklace off.
Okay, yeah, you take the necklace off.
And then I start to untie her because I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Okay. So, as you are untying her, Andrade re-enters with, like literally you guys had like 30 seconds. So Andrade re-enters, and you can see that he has a toolbox in his hands, and he looks at the two of you and he's like, "Hey, what do you guys? No, this isn't right." And then he starts conjuring a spell.
I'm attack him.
Can I say something, folks?
Roll initiative. So roll d20s. Let's see who goes first.
Me?
Everyone.
20.
17.
Okay, so Amelia, you get to go. What do you say?
I said don't attack Andrade. Attack whatever thing that he conjures up.
Okay, so that's what she said, and you can understand her. So.
Do I have to listen?
That's your call.
I'm gonna tackle him and pin him down so that I'm not killing him, but hurting him is okay.
Okay, so roll a strength check or athletics, so d20.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see if he... Yep, okay, he's... So, you rush at him, and you instantly go for the shoulder tackle, and he just kind of ducks underneath your arms and completes the spell. Amelia, the bindings that were wrapped around you lashes back onto your hand and pulls you back, and now you're attached to the bed once more. And, well, it's your turn.
Well, can I try to pack some sense in the draw?
Yeah, you can try. What do you say?
That's his name, right?
Andrade,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, snap out of it. I don't really know what else to say. I'm yelling at him, telling him to snap out of it.
You'll be like, this isn't what you want.
Yeah, this isn't you. Come back to us, something like that.
Make a charisma check, so d20.
Oh, there goes my dice.
Again.
18. Oh, no, wait, that's a 19, correct.
Well, Andrade looks at you, and with all the emotion he seems to have bottled up, just seems to burst at this one instant. This is what I want! And you can just hear his voice echo into your mind, as this is possibly as truthful as he is speaking.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Rory, you're currently right here. Sorry. Okay. Rory, what are you doing?
He conjured the thing.
His spell was to reattach Amelia to the bed.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna slap him.
Okay, roll an attack.
That is a what?
A d20.
Okay. I forgot what everything was.
Okay, you hit him. for 6 points of damage. Alarms.
Yeah, Angel's gotta go to work soon.
What? How soon?
Angel.
Huh?
Angel has to go to work.
I was gonna say. I was like, we specifically chose this date because of your work. All right. So you slap a Drod, and he seems unfazed by it, and he will now cast entanglement on you. So go ahead and make a strength saving throw. So roll a d20 again.
Why?
And these vines just sprout out and wrap around you, Rory. You're currently being grappled by these magical vines that sprouted from the board. And then Adrad will start monologuing. He's like, no. This is not what's supposed to happen. You, and he points at you, Rory, even though you can't understand anything he's saying.
So he's just pointing.
Yeah. You are supposed to be mine. And he seems very, very flustered, and then he, no, I must complete the ritual. And he takes the toolbox that he still had in his arm and walks over to Amelia.
Oh God, go away.
While he was doing that, I was I immediately started trying to fight the vines.
Yeah. So.
I'm just saying, oh God, go away.
Yeah. So Amelia would say, "Oh God, go away." And Rory, go ahead and make another roll. You rip it off you, but that takes your action, so you can move.
I can move?
Yes, but you can't do anything after that.
I'm up to a draw because I will do something.
Okay.
Next time.
You wanna
stay up to him.
You wanna move behind or like next to him?
Behind him.
Okay. So. Adrad takes out the blade as you are rushing towards him, and goes to lunge in. Actually, hold on. Let me change.
Never again. What? Huh? Oh.
Goes to lunge in to stab this blade into Amelia, before ping.
I'm sorry.
The blade gets.
Your curse gonna hate you today.
The blade gets deflected. Like it's knocked out of his hand. And Rory, you look behind you and you see Amelia's father. And he says, "Stay away from my daughter!"
Oh no.
Bless you.
Amelia, what are you doing?
Huh?
Like, no. Like, tell him, don't come any closer. He'll hurt you. Dad, go get help. Not you.
Okay, so Rory, if you missed it, Amelia's father came in through the door and disarmed Adrad, and then said, "Stay away from my daughter."
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard him come in.
Okay,
I didn't know that he actually like disarmed him.
No, he disarmed him. Yes. Well, it's your turn now, Rory.
So Adrad is now in Amelia's dad's. Okay. I'm
Well,
gonna break the things off of Amelia again and pull her off the bed.
Well, no, Adrad is free. Like the only thing that happened was the blade that he had in his hand was flinged away from him.
Oh my gosh.
That looks so uncomfortable. I'm sorry, babe. I'm gonna grab Adrad and pin him to the ground.
Okay, make another strength.
Please, dear God, don't be a bullshit roll. Oh my God!
Wait, let's see if he gets something smaller.
Please.
He won't.
He might. Rory has +5 to it, so that's 9 total. And Adrad got a 7. Wait, Adrad's stats?
Can't?
-3. He got a 4.
Oh, that might be in the very close.
So Rory,
These stink.
after Adrad gets disarmed, you see this opportunity, and Adrad flings his head over and looks at Amelia's father and kind of hisses at him before you just grab him pull his arm behind him. You slam him to the ground, and he just starts yelling. And yeah, your father comes over and starts untying you, Amelia. And then your mother breaks through the window.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is pretty much the end of combat. So, your father would be like, what is going on, Amelia?
And the evil book. I drawn at it. I'm just like, what?
And then he sits you up, and then he looks at your face and starts examining you, and he's like,
I just remember throwing notes and saying, I don't know what happened to the shirt.
I'm so happy you're okay. And then your mother Elizabeth is like, see, I told you we could make it in time. Jeez, you have to trust me sometimes.
She was almost wrong.
Almost. And then she.
It's always so hot.
I turned the heater off and turned on the fan.
Your father would then say, I've notified the guards. We need to get you out of here. And then Elizabeth is like, well, I'll watch the kid. Teach him a couple lessons. Don't mess.
No.
You don't mess with the sorrows. But yeah. Amelia's father will then, start ushering you back downstairs, Amelia, unless you want to do something.
I'm going to fucking Billy Bob.
Okay, so you guys go downstairs. Rory, what are you doing up here with Amelia's mother?
Held down, so.
Yes, and he is flailing like no other.
I guess I'm just holding on to him
So cavalry.
until, I don't know, she does something.
She's asking you questions in a language you do not understand.
No, you were completely in charge of that. So I
I'm
don't.
gonna kind of throw my shit next to each other and about this stuff.
Look like it's in there. Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Okay, so Amelia, you go downstairs with your father, and you see Billy Bob, one arm thrown across, with the hand open, where the pendant used to be, and you see his body leaned against the table that you were studying on the ground.
Wait, what?
So Billy Bob is laying on the ground, leaning against the table, with one arm across the room, and he seems to be deactivated.
So what was the pendant?
The pendant was on Rory, and then you took it off. It's in your possession currently.
Wait, the one that he's.
So, previously,
So not his gem, right? Not his gem.
not his gem. It was
Okay.
the garnet. It was the garnet. Yeah. And then
I go to him and just make sure that everything that his gem mainly is okay. I open the hatch.
make a intelligence check.
16.
He seemed to have taken a lot of damage from Rory due to the last fight, and even some from the imps that were here. And give or take, maybe like 30 minutes and a little bit of tinkering, you could probably get him back up and running.
That's fine.
Your father would then kneel down with you and say, I saw him on the way in, and I was scared that I was too late.
I'm just playing, tinkering with the things and just saying, I'm fine. Trying to get him back, get Billy Bob.
Well, I'm glad, to also see him here because this means that I don't have to watch you as often. And I guess I can tell you this, but it's because of these. And he pokes at your goggles. I may have put some magical stuff into it that allows me to see where you are. So I know when you're not at school, and I know when you're out adventuring. I'm just worried for you, Amelia. And he actually kneels down and like starts helping you, like like put things back together and everything. And he will start saying, because Rory's not back. When your mother told me that you were going out on a date with another man, I was furious. So I looked through your goggles, and next thing I know, I see fighting. And I thought you guys were like practicing magic and everything, but then I figured Billy Bob would not have his arm ripped off. And that's when I came to it, and I said, no, I have to find her. And oh man, I went straight to Grandmaster Rohan. He told me about Adrad, and we got here as soon as we could.
But he knew about it?
Knew about what?
Grandmaster knew about Adrad.
No, Adrad is a student. Grandmaster knows about all the students.
Out of back, sorry.
Never mind.
He's,
Oh,
he is the principal. What makes you think he wouldn't know the students?
oh, I thought you meant that he knew about the situation, and I'm just like,
No.
what?
Okay, so Rory, what you missed was a little bit of small talk with Amelia and
Have a good day.
I forget
No.
Alexander.
I hope you feel better.
I believe
I don't
that's
know.
why it's
I
an
think it
A.
was Alexander.
Yeah, I'll go with Alexander. So Rory, all you missed was that Amelia was having a little bit of small talk with Alexander, Amelia's father. The way he was able to find him was when Elizabeth, Amelia's mother, came and told him that she was going on a date with another man. He used some magic. He put a little bit of magic on Amelia's goggles, because she never takes them off, so that he can see through them. And he saw that you guys were fighting, and he immediately went to Grandmaster Rohan to try to find where Adrad lives. And that's why it took them so long to figure out where you guys were. And that's why they got here as soon as they could. And Adrad is crying. He is flustered. But eventually the guards will show up. Right after Elizabeth kind of like kicks him a bit. But like it's kind of like a nice kick. Like you could tell.
It's like a tap kind of kick.
No, you could tell that she was holding back, but it still left like a bruise.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, she was pissed. What do you expect from a mother?
Yeah. Needless to say, most mothers wouldn't have that kind of patience.
Yeah.
I know if it was my child.
Yeah.
Drod would be dead.
So eventually the guards show, and Billy Bob, the lights come back into his essence, and he starts to stand up and looks around.
Oh, yeah, Billy Bob's fine. I thought for sure something bad had happened and I was going to be really sad.
I just hugged Billy Bob.
And with one arm, he pats your back.
Yay.
It's just
Is the other arm still somewhere, or is it like
the other
Just across the room.
the other arm is off, but it's repairable. Amelia wanted to get him up and running before fixing. So
I picked up the arm and like apologetically handed to them.
Yeah. So you look at Amelia hugging Billy Bob, and you see his hand rise ever so slightly, and then poof, hitting Amelia's back really hard, but he doesn't know better.
I just make that sound and it's like, it's worth it.
And then you hand over his arm, and he reaches out, grabs it, and puts it back in the socket, and then it drops. And then he picks it up, and he puts it back in the socket, and then it drops. And then he looks at Amelia, and then cocks his head in confusion.
I'll get that fixed for you, big fella, and I just pat his.
And then Andrade being ushered by the guards. Grandmaster Rohan enters, and he, with a phoenix on his shoulder, and he looks around and he says, "I'm so happy all of you are okay. The book went missing about 2 weeks ago. We've been trying to find it. And I see that our lovely Andrade has found it." And then he starts doing some magical fingers. Doing this yeah. Amelia, you recognize this. This is the remove curse spell that he casted on you the first time you were entranced by this book. And you immediately see Andrade's anger flow.
He's gonna be so depressed.
Yeah, flow into, like, his arms just immediately drops. And then you at first you see one single tear roll down his face. And then he just screams, "No! I didn't mean any of this!" And he
His
just...
parents are dead, man.
Yep. He breaks down completely. Like, out of all the things that you've seen in the room and everything, you can feel the pain as it echoes out of his voice. You can feel his sadness as waterfalls of tears just roll down his face, and even the little bit of booger that is now sprinkling outwards. But as he continues to cry and actually thrash about because of frustration, the guards pull him out the house before shutting the door behind. Rohan, now looking at all of you, says, "I am really sorry for the circumstances." Alexander will then say, "I would like that Nook and Cranny be sought out for this. They didn't protect my daughter as I'd hope. It seems to me that this book, this Necronomicon, whatever it was, is seeking to kill my daughter. And if it wasn't for Nook and Cranny, this would have never happened."
That is some... Okay.
Huh?
He's blaming Nook and Cranny for you almost dying, even though at that point the Academy had the book. So really, this situation is the Academy's fault.
Okay, thinking from my dad's side, Nook and Cranny is actually supposed to be taking care of me, or keeping an eye on me. That's understandable, but yes, you're right.
Oh. Amelia, you know your father. and your father has nothing but utmost loyalty towards the academy, which is why he probably blames Nook and Cranny rather than the academy.
So my mom's a Nook and Cranny and my dad's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and Elizabeth looks at him in disgust, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? You're blaming Nook and Cranny for this?" And he's like, "Who else would it be? If it wasn't for Nook and Cranny, she would have never been put into this danger." And then Elizabeth's like, "No." Elizabeth shushes you, and she says, "No. If it wasn't for you constantly protecting her, sheltering her from everything, she would have never sought out to leave."
I just tell them, like, can you help me take this home?
Yeah.
I
just nod.
And
Pick up his arm.
Grandmaster Rohan is blocking the way out. and
Is there a window?
he kneels down to look at you, Amelia, as your parents argue in the background, and he says, "What do you think, Amelia? Who's at fault?"
Not really anybody's. I like adventuring, so it would have happened anyway. So, my fault, I guess.
And then he stands up and then turns you around, puts a hand over your shoulder, and he says, "Do you see that?" And he Alexander and Elizabeth looks at Rohan. "Your daughter admits to being wrong."
I'm just holding the hand, looking at it. I'm just like, I want to go home.
Yeah. And he says, "It is no one's fault. Your daughter is an amazing woman and will grow up to be an even far greater. She knows this problem. And she loves both Nook and Cranny and the Academy. And seeks nothing wrong between the two. I'd hope one day you two would see the same as your daughter here." As he turns around with you, and he says,
I'm just like, okay.
yeah, it says, "Come now, I'll take you home. Let your children argue." as he walks you out with,
The fuck?
yep, Billy Bob, before he leaves, turns around and does a wave. With one hand, obviously. And as you guys walk out, he picks up his phoenix and then puts it on the ground and then begins to cast a spell and polymorphs the phoenix into a griffin and then persuades you guys to go on top of it.
Okay.
And you guys would fly straight home. And as you guys land on top of the house, Grandmaster Rohan, who's still riding the phoenix, looks down and at you, Amelia, and says, "I am really sorry for what has happened. We will see to it that Adrad would receive no punishment. And we'll try to find him a new home and maybe even a loving family.
I thought you were done.
As for you, Amelia, you still have a test to study for."
I just hit my head on the arm and just like,
Damn
I'm
it.
like, is he gonna be okay? I'm trying to be okay.
And then you hear a little bit of a chuckle, and then he says, "I was kidding."
Oh,
About
okay.
Yeah. He would say, we'll do what we can to take care of Adrad. Once we have him settled, if he is safe to visit, I will send you a message. In the meantime, we have to keep him in the dungeon.
Alright.
And then he takes his flight and flies away.
So now we're at the house?
Yep, you guys are currently standing on top of Amelia's house.
What? Are you just gonna put me on the ground?
Nope.
I just go fly down the roof.
I
Alright.
was gonna say, doesn't your mom have like a bajillion doors that open around everywhere in the house?
I'm gonna slide down the roof and catch a gutto, see if I can swing inside of the window. If there's an open.
Prepare to take
Alright,
damage.
make a acrobatics check. So roll. What'd you get? 10? Okay, so Amelia slides down one side of the house. And then she grabs onto the roof and flings herself into the window. Lands perfectly on her feet. What is everyone else doing?
I got Billy Bob back in.
Wait, how high is my acrobatics?
You have a +5.
Oh, okay.
So
How's
what?
Billy Bob gonna get in the house?
You see Billy Bob mimic her.
Oh no.
Amelia, you hear, doof, doof, doof.
Get out of the way.
And then a moment of silence. And then, Rory, you just saw Billy Bob fall off the roof.
I'm just shaking my head like,
You look at your arms and you realize he probably needed this arm. And Amelia, with the window open, you would hear, "What the hell? Jesus, what the fuck?" from the outside.
Oh, my tummy.
is there anything that I can look forward to like come inside this safe way? Because
Uh,
I advise you to go to the front
no,
door.
no.
we're on the roof.
So
You can jump down.
you slowly inch your way down the way that they came. Like, you're not sliding down, because you're still holding onto the arm. You have claws, so you're slowly inching your way through, and you realize the flashiness of Amelia's twirl and everything to just use the momentum to fly, to like throw herself around, is completely unnecessary to get into the window. So you look down and you see Billy Bob on the ground with a thumb raised in the air. As two guards are looking down at him, like poking him with their spears, like, what the fuck? With the butt end of the spear. Sorry, they're not stabbing him, they're just poking him with the butt end.
What if I just go around my house just in case?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're a noble. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amelia, you see Rory come through the window with Billy Bob's arm. And you realize that Billy Bob probably fell to the ground.
I just go to the window and look down. I'm like, I sigh and I'm just like, oh, let's go get him. We'll walk downstairs.
So you guys walk downstairs and you guys get to the door, and you hear at the door, poof, poof, poof. Do you open the door? Or what?
Sure.
Okay, so you reach for the door, and I need you to make an acrobat or dexterity saving throw. So,
Woo.
so you reach for the door, and in a brief moment you realize, oh wait a minute, and you dodge out of the way as Billy Bob slams open the door. Because he doesn't know better. And it completely like breaks off its hinges and actually like the doorknob slams into the wall and gets stuck. You do see like a little bit of cracks into the wall.
I'm just like looking at it, looking at him, looking at the door, then looking back at him.
And you look at the guards.
I'm gonna teach you something.
The guards are like, Amelia, not another one of your contraptions, please.
But I wanted to make a friend for him. Just the fucking.
And you would eventually take Billy Bob up to your room, and you would fix him up. And
Right. I gotta go to the bathroom. Hold on.
okay.
Ow.
So what do you think, Rory? Or how do you feel about all of this?
Billy Bob scares me.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know
Not
better.
like not sheer terror, but kind of like the kind where you just kind of like look baffled.
Well, if you think about it, you really think about it, Billy Bob is a child in a robotic body.
That is ginormous.
Yeah. So it's like
It's like a solid rock version of me.
yeah, just like maybe like 2 or 3 inches under. And that's terrifying. Nonetheless, you are also a child.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
In a very muscular body. Like, holy fuck. Oh, jeez. Yeah. So, Amelia.
Download Fortnite anyway. Yes, for notifications. Sorry.
So, yeah. As you're watching Amelia tinker with Billy Bob, you don't really know how to, do anything. What would you like to do? This is actually the first time you see Amelia. Amelia. Not
To, like
actually
really?
tinkering. Like this is the first thing I actually see her like messing with Billy Bob. Seeing like all these sticks poke in and out, lights glowing, and Amelia for once looking serious.
I'm like paired up.
I am fascinated because it's adorable to my eyes.
I look at Rory and say, "Can you get me some food from the fridge?"
I cock my head to the side because I don't know what a fridge is.
I mean, what do you expect?
So I get a paper and then draw a rectangle with a line halfway.
Okay, so she draws a box.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna. I was looking for it, I guess.
Okay, so make a investigation check. This is how long it takes you.
This is fun.
The higher the roll, the better. Oh, so
Takes a while.
so Rory takes give or take 45 minutes or so, and you can hear underneath you, Rory just kind of like opening and closing some drawers and opening and closing some closets, maybe even tossing some things out, and then the guards come up and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What the hell is that thing?" As I'm pretty sure Rory would show the picture.
Yes, that would be what I did. I would hold out the picture and be like pointing at it and then pointing like upwards towards Amelia's room or something.
And the guards will eventually come up to Amelia and then see that she's working on Billy Bob, and she's like, what is your friend doing? She's throwing things on the ground, she's flipping boxes.
I just look I look at them, take my helmet thing that I'm working with, and just look at them. I wanted food. She doesn't know a lot of things. So.
Well, the helmet is embedded into Billy Bob. You have to take Billy Bob's head.
I'm talking about the helmet for me.
The-
You know, when you're looking with
The bell?
metal. Huh?
The bell, you mean?
No, the helmet. Like, I have.
Oh, like a
helmet.
welder's mask?
Welder's mask. There you go.
Wait, what? You have a
You know,
helmet?
like when welders are like messing with really hot flame, they have that mask to protect their face.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So you take that off, right? And you say what?
I wanted food. I asked her to get me some. She doesn't know a lot of human things.
Okay.
So that must be the reason why she's taking so long.
So they go back downstairs. They open a door and they just see Rory like with the bed lifted up in one arm, looking under, and the guards look at you, Rory, and they do the come to me gesture.
I follow.
Okay. So Amelia, you hear from above, "Stoof," as the bed just drops as she follows.
I'm just like, oh goodness, Dad's not gonna like this.
And they eventually take you to a door or a box with a door. They open said door, and you see a bunch of food and provisions on the inside.
I just grab some things, like some bread.
Okay.
Maybe
Just grab like
an
an
apple.
armful of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guards say something to you, and you can see they have like a finger up, and they're like, never mind. And then
I also grab some stuff for me because I'm starving.
you see some frozen raw meat, so you take a nice chunk of it, and
But it's frozen.
yeah, it's frozen, but you could probably make a fire or something.
Just gonna start gnawing on it.
So Rory appears back up in the room with an armful of supplies and like a leg of lamb in her mouth.
That'll do, and I just pat the empty space next to me for.
Billy Bob holds up a thumb. And you guys will consume the food.
Nom 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 nom. Munch munch.
You guys.
I'm just like eating while walking, just not paying attention to what I eat.
Yep. So eventually nightfall comes, and you guys will go to bed. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be walking on Billy Bob anymore, right?
Yeah. You can see that his arms are back to function.
So, in this meantime, I feel like I would teach him little things about shutting the doors gently or opening them gently.
Roll a Constitution. So roll a d20. You fall asleep. After all the shit that happened today, you're exhausted. And you would wake up the next day. You hear some shifting of metal, and when you wake up, you see Billy Bob looking at the different blueprints of himself that you've made.
Oh.
And yeah, he looks at you, and then he sees that you're awake, and then rushes over to you. Yeah, and then kneels down and shows you the picture, and then points at himself.
Aw, so cute.
These were old blueprints I had for you.
He rushes over to a old helmet that you made that was designed for him, but then you didn't like the look, and he rushes back, points at himself.
I'm moving my eyes trying to look at it because I just woke up, and I'm just like, you want that?
And he nods.
I guess I'll get this equipment for it today.
So Rory, you would eventually wake up as Billy Bob is thumping back and forth. Like you look at Amelia and she hasn't even left her bed yet, and she has her goggles, she has her utensils.
My goggles on.
Billy Bob brought it over to you. And you see Billy Bob with his head in her lap, and you just see as she is welding the head on him.
Well then. I am slightly puzzled because this is a lot of ruckus right away.
Bet my dad hates it.
But I'm curious, so I eventually crawl over to go see what she's doing. Or see what, look up close what's going on.
Yeah, you can see that Amelia seems to be burning Billy Bob's neck. And then from your peripherals, you see a thumb rise, which is Billy Bob's thumb.
I point to the blueprint. He wanted this, and he woke me up. But so I'm just.
And eventually, she completes the quote-unquote upgrade. Amelia, you hate the way it looks, but Billy Bob loves it. Even though he can't see it.
That's adorable.
And eventually, Alexander appears from the door, and he's like, "Can you stop with the ruckus?"
Saw that he wanted.
runs over to him, lays down, and shows him his face.
Wanted me to make him a new helmet.
You hear a thud as Alexander seems to have fallen.
Oh no! Did he fall down the stairs?
How? He is completely terrified if a 7-foot, like 18-ton creature runs at him.
I'm gonna need to work on your approach skill.
Billy Bob tilts his head.
I'm hungry. And then I get out of bed and then just shuffle to the door.
Yep, you guys will climb down to the kitchen. Billy.
How's the house set up?
The house is set up quite interestingly. I'll have to hold on, give me a
Is
moment.
it like my room, like a room in the barn kind of thing?
Yeah,
Like,
just
I have a room on top,
Ow.
but then I have it's like everything is visible, but the kitchen and living room is at the bottom, and then the rooms are at top, and you just climb upstairs. It's like your old house, Salvin.
okay. So I'm gonna draw for you. Okay, don't laugh at it.
I'm already laughing.
Okay,
That defeats the whole thing that he just said, Linda.
so let's just say this is your living room. Okay,
Hold on. Yeah.
you have a set of stairs that go to the second floor, right here.
Mhm.
You have a kitchen on this side. You have the dining room, no, not dining room, but like the loft or the guest room on this side.
Okay.
I'm gonna use a different color for the second story. So the second story, you have a main lounge that also connects to a balcony.
Huh.
Or actually, the balcony will stretch out even further, not like that big.
Okay.
And then you got a third floor, where your parents
Nice.
reside, over here. You have your butlers and maids over here.
Oh yeah, I'm a noble.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting.
and then the guards over here. And then you have your attic,
I'm guessing that's me.
which is like this. So yeah, that's
So
that's
is the
your
stairs
house.
like not like an elevator, but has the same
Uh,
type of direction? It's just
so
you
so
go upstairs and then you could just walk out, and then when you go back to the stairs, you walk either up or down.
no, so
Is that how
so
it goes?
there's a set of stairs going up, and it'll be two smaller parallel stairs going back the opposite direction.
Oh, okay.
And
Like
this,
a mall.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get everything down because I'm just
Yeah.
like,
so
I
you
like it.
you would walk up, turn around, and then walk up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you guys are in the kitchen. You guys are eating. Once more, Billy Bob is pretending to sit. He's not actually sitting. He's just doing the motion.
No.
His legs is completely supporting his weight.
No way.
And you guys have a meal in front of you, catered to you by the butlers and maids. And Billy Bob looks at his food, and then looks back at you, Amelia.
I'm just slowly eating and looking at him. They're just like, what you gonna do?
He
Go over here.
he picks up a fork, and in the process, snaps it. He picks up a spoon, and in the process, snaps it. He picks up the butter knife, and in the process, he snaps it.
Snap.
And he looks back at you in confusion. Extreme confusion as Rory is.
Yep.
So, in all this process, I'm gonna teach her how to hold gently, or if I can. And I'm gonna roll for that, because I feel like I might have to roll for it.
Alright, yeah. What'd you get?
Oh no. Wait, what?
What'd you get? What did you roll?
Oh, I said I got a 6.
Okay, it's not that hard. You really didn't have to roll, but if you insisted, you hand him your spoon, and then he holds out his hand, and with your other hand, you slowly pinch his index finger and his thumb until he is able to support it, and then you let go, and then he looks at it, and it looks at you.
And I'm just like, gently.
No, yeah. So basically, you show him how much weight he needs to apply, and
Yeah.
I need to remind you that compared to his hands, on the spoon is about the size of his finger.
Oh, I'm thinking like a freaking, what is it? Hold on.
He's almost as big as me.
Yeah. So
Oh.
the spoon is the spoon is an average spoon, right? And it's the size of his finger, and like the width, the width of his hands, like his fingers alone, pretty much makes the spoon disappear in between the pinch. And he's looking at you for further instructions on how to eat.
And I'm like, I just pat him and say, you can't eat. I'll show you later. I'm just slowly eating.
He then tries to mimic you.
Oh no.
He tries to pick up a lettuce with a spoon and brings it up to his mouth, and it falls.
Aw.
And then
Squeaking.
he picks up the bowl and tries to mimic Rory and smashes it into his face. And then the butler comes over and be like, Madame Amelia, may I please ask you excuse your friend here? He's making quite a mess.
I can't really help. He's learning.
Well then, I insist that you teach him properly. And I know that, Madame, you will be the most excellent teacher for him. And then
Ass kisser.
he could
I was gonna say.
he then takes out a dustpan and broom and proceeds to just wait by Billy Bob as he slowly but surely cleans everything he drops. Rory, looking around you, you see two maids around you, also doing the same thing.
I'm just looking at both of them. I'm like, maybe I could have.
I didn't know I was making that much of a mess. I thought I was eating everything.
Yeah, you were, but like
That's still
some
making a
things
lot of mess.
some things do fall out of your mouth. Okay.
When you're eating everything, you only have a certain
Yeah,
amount of
if
stuff
you're
to put in your mouth.
if you're eating like an animal, things are bound to fall out.
I'm gonna get up and see if I can find my mother.
Amelia is sleeping. I follow.
And I'm just like, dang.
I look really sad. Ow, fuck.
So Amelia, you proceed to walk upstairs, and Rory, you see Billy Bob following.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep following.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. You go up to
I
your
didn't know he was following me.
you go up to your parents' room, and you knock on the door, and you will hear your mother say, "Come in," and you enter, and
But how far is Billy Bob behind me?
he is literally like 1 foot behind you.
Okay, and then I slowly open the door, looking at him, and then looking at the door, and then looking at him,
He cocks his head.
and I'm like this, and then I walk into the room.
You then hear a tung as he hits his head on the the door frame as he was staring at you the whole time. And now he's examining the door, and you would see your mother on the bed, on the edge of the bed, leaned over with very, very messy hair, and like just like her was it sleeping dress, just like part of her is she is very, very lazy, and she is showing a lot of skin for something like this. Luckily, you are amongst friends, and you look at your father, who is currently looking at himself in the mirror and seems to be doing some type of makeup and cleaning his hair for the rest of the day. Yeah, he is powdering himself.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
These are your parents.
I go to my mother, just pop Rihanna, and ask, you know, if you could help me today
Oh, what do you need, honey?
to teach, mostly Billy Bob, some things.
I mean, it certainly wouldn't help to teach me to learn English somehow.
I was gonna say, and possibly for Rory.
She starts chuckling, and then she falls back onto the bed, laughing her ass off. And she says, "Honey, do you not understand how long it took us to teach you how to use the bathroom?"
We know how to use the bathroom, fuck. God damn.
All I'm saying is, honey, we are not the teachers you are needing. But if you seek help, I will gladly help you. And then your father is like, "Speak for yourself, Elizabeth. I taught her how to read. And look how good that did. Reading a book of necromantic powers."
Oh my god.
And then you see that your father stops for a moment in the middle of him combing his hair, takes a deep breath, and then continues. And it's like, look, Amelia, the reason why we've never gotten you a pet is because you lack discipline and responsibility. So take it upon us. Maybe this is a way for you to teach yourself.
I sigh and then walk out.
Bill-
16.
Yeah, Billy Bob drops his shoulders and mimics. Rory, what are you doing?
I cock my head at their weird behavior and then I just follow.
Okay.
I go up to my room and I guess I have a few books laying around in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I just see if there's anything that can help me. Because I feel like Amelia would grab random books just to please her dad.
Okay. Okay, make a intelligence roll.
Oh,
So looking around, you're like, gears, no.
so good.
Functionality, no.
No.
The magnificent gems of the world, maybe later.
What?
And then you eventually get to cooking for dummies.
Oh no.
I'll open the book.
You open the book and yeah, it's teaching you all the ingredients and how to stir, how to mix.
And I'm like, this might help Roy, but she can't read yet.
You look at Billy Bob and he seems to be
Well,
reading.
I can read
he-
Draconic.
Yeah, he seems to be reading the books you threw away.
I slide the cooking book to him and then go back downstairs to do a little testing.
Well, the moment you start walking downstairs, you just hear the thuds following.
Yeah, I know. I slide the book to him. That means take it with him.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you guys are just going up and down the house. Okay, you go to the kitchen.
Gotta get that
I-
cardio.
I look at the book, flip through the pages to see what is easy to cook, and see.
A
Someone
sandwich.
pick a random thing.
A sandwich.
A sandwich. And I point to it to Billy Bob.
He points
And
at
I'm
it.
like, try to make it.
This is gonna end so badly.
He looks at the book.
We're in the kitchen, right?
Yes, you guys are in the
I'm
kitchen.
just going to the food stores and I'm just gonna start snacking on whatever.
He grabs a piece of meat out of Rory's arm.
I fight him. I dare him.
Make a roll.
Okay, I don't fight him. I just like grab it back. Like no.
Oh yeah, just make a roll. It's just this just a playful roll.
My rolls are crap today.
Nope. Yeah. So with his newfound arm, he holds your head back and pulls the meat away from you.
Head back.
Yeah. And then his hand just seems to peel off just like the thinnest layer of the meat, and then puts it on the table and then hands it back to Rory. And
What type of meat was it to be peeled? Or was it just
it
you
looked
just peeled it off?
he peeled off a very, very thin slice of what seems to be turkey.
Oh.
And then he proceeds to
Give the turkey back to me.
yeah, he gave the turkey back to you.
Okay.
He's like, I need to borrow this.
And give or take, in less than like 10 seconds, he makes a perfect sandwich.
I'm like, alright. Checklist thing in my head. So you know how to
Read.
make food. Alright. I don't know, am I fully dressed or just in my pajamas?
You're in your pajamas with goggles on your head.
Yeah. I'm gonna go upstairs and get dressed. And we're gonna go to the library.
Okay, so on your way back down, you see that he has made 6 more.
Is my jacket still fine?
No.
Aw.
So I've been wandering around with like a really raggedy, blood-stained jacket, huh?
Yep.
So I go to Billy Bob and say, okay, that's enough, and I pack whatever sandwiches in bags and put them in my bag for Roy later.
He picks up the cooking book and just continues reading it.
It's like, no more food. You can read, but no more food. And I look at Roy and just like, huh. Wonder if mom has anything. Go back upstairs.
By this point, your father is completely dressed, and you.
Hope so.
No, yeah, like before it was just like his sleeping robes, but now he's
Yeah, I know.
completely dressed, and he gives you a nice nod, and he's like, "Will I be seeing you at school today?"
Yeah, I'm going to the library, so possibly, but not alone.
Not for me.
He kind of he pinches the side of your cheek, and he says, "Close enough." And then he walks away. What are you
I'm
doing?
looking for
Look at
my
my
wild
headphones.
headphones.
Continue talking, bro.
Okay. So you guys will make your way to the library.
What? Oh, I was going up
to
to see my mom.
Oh, right. Okay, well, yeah, she's there. She is still have these knots in her hair, and she looks like she barely moved an inch off the bed.
Hold on. I knock on the door and say, "Ma, do you have anything for my friend?"
Which one?
Boy points to boy.
Waves.
She needs something to wear.
I don't know. My clothes are kind of tight on me. Let me hop in here for a moment. And she goes into the closet. Aha! She pulls out a what seems to be a leather coat that like drapes down to what normally would be like the back of the knee, but to Rory would pretty much cover her entire body. But it's a coat. This is your father's, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind if it just disappeared.
I love these two. Thanks, Ma. And I
Wait!
give it to
Wait! This is a perfect trade. And she takes Rory's coat and puts your father's coat on, and
There's
then
no difference.
and then gives a little nice tie onto the hanger, and then skips back into the closet.
I'm like, okay, and I give this to her and I put it on.
Woo, I have a new jacket.
Alright, I'm gonna go head out.
Bye, honey.
Does it fit right?
Yeah, no, like again, it's supposed to be like a long trench coat, but to you, it like barely peaks the waist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, humans are tiny.
And they're elves too.
No, your mom's the elf. Your dad's a human, right?
Yeah.
That gives more example because she's tall.
Anyways, so you guys make your way to the academy, right? So, you see the guards, and the guards give you a nice nod, and as you walk in between the gates, you get repelled.
I'm like, just laying on the ground. I'm like, what? What?
The guards lean over. Seems to me that you're forgetting a book.
Get off and go back.
Is it the Draconic book?
I was gonna say, what book?
Beats me. You're not allowed in unless you bring your book that you got from the library.
Isn't it the Draconic book that I have?
Yeah, probably.
Don't I technically have that?
Yeah.
But it's probably at the house.
No, she has it.
She had. Oh, okay.
She probably fell asleep reading it.
So then I hand it to her?
Well, I mean, you don't know.
Well, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I don't have a book checked out though. Like, I don't, because I don't know if Roy took it.
Oh no, no.
Oh, yeah, you do. You had to give me your library card.
Yeah.
You
Did
had
I?
to pick it out for me.
Yep.
Oh, I'm like, okay, scratch all that. Memory sucks. I turned to Roy and asked her, do you have the book that you got from here?
You wink it out of somewhere. Wave it around.
And I grab it and then show it to the guards.
The guard's like, I don't know if that's the book you checked out. Just try walking in.
It's so much work. I'm gonna walk in.
All right, you walk in.
Awesome, and I'm just gonna go to the library.
And Billy Bob attempts to walk in, and then the guard's like, "Oh, yo. No. You see the light within Billy Bob flares up.
And I'm like, let him in. He's with me.
And what? You could just bring any friend that you want into. Billy Bob grabs his head.
Hey, Billy Bob, no. Put him down.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. And I walk. I gesture them both to come on.
So you guys would walk in. Because Rory's just following Amelia like she does.
Yep.
And I still haven't got this. I still didn't make the, But you guys will go up to the library. You guys will see several students reading books. Once more, the library looks bigger on the inside than it does on the outside. Like the whole school is pretty big, but doesn't seem to be able to really hold this much books. But you guys are here, and you guys are supposed to be quiet. And when Billy Bob enters, you see a bunch of kids look at you and shh.
And I'm just like, I go to Billy Bob and just like, you gotta be quiet. And then I go back in. I go in the library. I'm just gonna, I go to him just like, stay here. I'll be right back.
He falls on his butt. And sits crisscrossed.
And then I go look for some books.
Yeah.
I follow to the library, go back to the Draconic section.
Okay. You go back to the Draconic section, and you're looking around, and you see a lot of books. A lot of books. Both of you guys see a lot of books. What are you guys looking for in particular that you really?
I want to learn how to speak other things. Is there any language books?
I was gonna say I'm gonna be looking for a common language book for Rory. I don't know what else I'm gonna look for.
I mean, you still gotta teach Billy Bob some shit.
I know. I'm trying to think of like what means stuff. Oh, I guess specifics. If there's any specific books on what mechanical golems.
Okay, so Rory, make an intelligence check. So roll d20, and Amelia, you make one too.
15. That's not bad.
15.
Okay, so Rory, you look and you're trying to find things that can translate, and you see a huge variety of it, but you don't know what language they're speaking. So you pick one up and you start reading it.
Alright then.
Amelia, you are looking for anything robotic, and you got that. So, yes, you would find a dwarvish book.
Like it's just dwarf.
I believe you can read dwarvish. Yeah, you can read dwarvish. Yeah. So, this dwarvish book is a really, really old antique book, and it tells about the time when dwarves actually made these mechanical creatures, but they used they used pre-existing living tissue. So like if a human was dying, they traded some of their body organs for mechanical purposes, and they became robots, pretty
Is it?
much, or cyborgs. This is a very, very old book.
I was gonna say, isn't that necromancy in a way?
No,
Oh.
most it's like they don't reuse the organs. They swap the organs for mechanical purposes. And yes, they tend to lose their humanity doing so.
Oh, they swap the organs with mechanical in the human body.
Yeah, so turning them into cyborgs effectively. But yeah, you see, you read a book about that.
Doesn't seem like it helps. Try looking again.
Rory, do you ever try testing? You're okay. So Rory finds you, Amelia, and what would you like to say to her, or try to say to her?
I don't know. I guess just hi. That's always like the standard in language books is learning greetings first.
So you hear in very, very broken Elvish the word hi from Rory.
I guess I speak it back to her. Hi, back to her. Question mark.
So Rory, Amelia speaks to you in a language you don't understand.
Wait, I thought she said hi back in Elvish.
Yeah, but you never heard it.
Yeah, I never heard it.
Pouts.
But you're trying to say it, but yeah. And you're using like your draconic language as a reference, so that's why I said very, very broken. So it doesn't sound quite the same as how you said it.
So I try to mimic what she said then?
Okay, make a intelligence check.
To know that if you're
Fuck.
mimicking.
Something about the draconic language is just sticking with her too much. It's like it's a habit that she needs to break. That that you can now see, like you can see like she's making more like an S sound for like the reptilian, like when she needs to be more, just more fluid when it comes to speaking Elvish. But you figured this is gonna take some time.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a draconic language book myself for myself.
Okay.
And I go to the counter. Does Roy have anything? Roy, do you have anything?
She has a draconic to Elvish book.
Oh. And I'm gonna take a book and go to the desk.
And you see the orcish librarian once more. He looks at you with an eyebrow furled, and he's just like, "You're trying out new languages now?"
Yeah, I guess.
I say hello again.
He
Except in my language this time.
he gives a nice nod, and then, "All right, 2 books," and he stamps your student card. Nope.
Yeah.
And he goes back to reading.
I say thank you and then head back home, I guess.
Okay. So, to give you guys a heads up, to fully be able to speak fluently a language in my game, you have to study it for a year.
Oh God, kill me.
Well, hey, broken communication is better than no communication. Come on.
I guess.
If we don't die before then.
Right.
If you guys want, I could do a time skip. But that's a whole year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're gonna miss a lot. Nah. I'll just do it by hand, I guess.
Okay, so as you walk out of the library, you see Billy Bob sitting, waiting.
I'm like, okay, Billy Bob, come on.
He immediately stands up and follows. Where are you going?
I don't think there's anything that I need to do today, right? Yeah. Well, I'll just go
Well,
back home.
Coming upstairs to the library, you saw your father actually teaching.
Is my dad a teacher?
Your dad is a representative of the academy, yes.
Okay.
But
I guess. What?
do you sit and listen, or do you just ignore him like you normally do?
I just ignore him and I just wave.
Before you leave, the door shuts.
I just turn my head slowly back.
And as you enter, he would say, "Amelia, oh, I'm so happy you could finally join us." And
I'm gonna go home. Go home.
and you proceed to sit through his teachings.
Hey! I want to sit next to Baron. I see the bee.
Oh, I haven't updated this, but yes, Baron is there. Like, for example, Adrad's not here.
Yeah, I figured that was John. I just
Oh, baby.
Just get rid
and
of
I stare intensely at what he's doing.
He is taking notes as best as he can, and he's actually not like paying much attention to you. Like he noticed that you sat down next to him and kind of gave you an eye, you know, just to like see who the fuck, and then he's realized and he's kind of ignoring you.
That's fine. I'm just watching.
He's like in his 20s, right?
Yeah,
And he's a human, or is he?
he's a human.
He's a human. Just to bother. I just slide up to him like, "What you doing?"
You can't.
Oh, I can't.
Rory currently has the closest seat to
fuck.
him.
Well, then I go bother some other person.
You want to sit in the back or in the front?
I'll sit in the back.
I'll say this one. So, Rory,
That
as
was fun.
no, the back is all the T is
Oh, no,
teacher.
there you go.
T is
There you go.
teacher.
I was looking at this thing right here, the gray thing.
Yeah, that they do teach on there sometimes, but for the most part, it's like this. So, Rory, you would see looking over his notes, the words in Draconic. Do you need something?
Shakes head.
I will eat you. I will eat you. Stupid pigs. Go ahead.
And then, he would say, or let's see, you just shook your head.
Yeah, literally. Like, do you need something? No.
It's just bothering me.
Yeah, even I'm bothered.
Oh, yes.
I
Well,
got-
I'm a little kid. I'm just watching, okay? Like, come on. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
All the fucking time. It's really annoying.
So if you're just gonna be doing nothing but bothering him,
Not even that close. I am literally just watching him take notes.
yeah, but it's still bothering him.
Look, there's one right there. There's one right there.
Fine. I say, what's the teacher talking? What's the man saying?
Stop. There you go.
He is teaching about the intricacies of magic and how to use a scrying orb to check on the ones that you care about most. And how also the scrying orb can be used for evil means so that others can see what you or anyone else you're with is doing. And then he goes into great detail about what it is.
Fascinating.
And
I just listen, I guess.
Amelia, the man next to you is like, can can you be a little bit quieter? I mean, it's your father up there.
I know.
As
I'm
you're
listening to him.
as you're kind of just like drawing in your notebook, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Fumbling with some iron things. Maybe a guinea pig falls out of your arm. And what's with the big guy looking over my shoulder?
Oh, that's my golem I made.
Billy Bob puts a hand over his shoulder. Seems like a good guy. As he continues to write.
Sorry, he doesn't know his own string.
So, the class will pass, and eventually your father would come over to you, Amelia, and would say, "Thank you for joining us today, Amelia. I'm so happy you wanted to learn so much from me."
I look at the door and then to him and then to the door. I had no choice, Dad.
Pinches your cheek. No, you didn't.
In front of the class. Wow.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
and then he brushes your hair, makes it really funky, and then class dismissed, and then he goes up the set of stairs.
Everybody giggles at me and I'm like,
Yes, they do.
I'm gonna go home.
I have to veer in real quick. What language, what speech is Amelia use? I don't know. Some, like, not really
It's
eligible
broken
sense.
English saying what
Yeah.
what am I
Yeah.
speaking.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, so
Yeah.
I can't say that it's
Yeah.
speech. Like,
Yeah.
what noise comes out of Amelia's mouth?
Yes. And yeah.
A lot of noise apparently.
And he would put, well, she speaks common, elf, halfling, and dwarvish.
What is common?
And then he speaks in common, and then he speaks in draconic like that.
I just look confused.
But as far as you know, you've limited your options to 4 subjects. Elf was one of them, so you might be on the right page here.
I mean, I can speak Elvish, so.
Yeah, but she doesn't know which one is. Well, she.
Oh, which one
yeah,
is which?
yeah. I mean, like she has a gist
Do I
that.
have the book in my hand, or does
Yeah.
Amelia have it?
No, you have it. It's yours.
So then I take out the book. Which one is this?
Elvish.
The long silence makes it even better.
She
Yep.
like stares at it. Like I'm trying to figure out like what to say because I have to make it sound dumb.
And then.
Not like dumb, but like.
And
you know.
then.
Ignorant.
And then he sighs. She normally speaks common. And then he writes the word common in draconic. And he says, if you're looking for a book, look for something with that.
Okay, thank you.
And then
And
Rory.
I do some sort of friendly thing. I shake his hand.
Ambiguously.
he kind of just looks at you, shakes the hand, and then kind of gives you like a... Hey, you see like a very, very tiny essence of a smile, and then he gives a nod and then continues working.
I like him.
And then you eventually reconvene with Amelia and Billy Bob and this poor
I'm just
bystander.
rumbling downstairs. Going downstairs.
What do you're on the bottom floor.
Oh, okay. I'm grumbling going out.
Okay. So, you guys would leave. What do you guys do next?
I wanted to go home.
You go home.
Wait. I want to go see Keisu.
As of right now, it is just peaking past 2
2 a.m.
p.m.
p.m. Sorry.
Hey, Em, holy fuck, we woke up. Did we even
I mean,
sleep?
there's such thing as late classes, so all late classes are we want to look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna go to see if there's Keisu and
Okay.
Anjin.
So you go to Nook and Cranny, and you open the door, and once more you're showing Billy Bob like this.
Slowly,
Like
and then
this.
closing it slowly.
And then you walk in, and then Billy Bob goes to the other door because there's two doors, you know, the double-sided door.
For the big ones.
Yeah, and he mimics you. And then he looks at you with a thumbs up.
And I just do thumbs up back at him. Like, okay.
And then he slams the door shut.
I just do the thumbs down.
He opens the door, slowly closes the door shut.
There we go.
And looking around, you see a bunch of the Nook and Cranny members actually like fumbling around and getting their things together. You would see your mother actually talking to some of the occupants there, and looking around for Keisu. She's not in your current vicinity.
I'll go to my mom anyway.
Okay, and she's like, "Oh, hi, honey. What are you doing at Nook and Cranny?"
Why the fuck is she talking to me like that?
Because I know you're gonna sneak out. I know my daughter.
Well, Dad forced me to go to one of his classes. So.
Come on. He can't force you. She puts in air quotes.
He shut the door on me and I couldn't get out.
Just like how I force him to meet my parents. Even.
This is so weird. Okay, Mom, what are you doing?
Oh, well, you know, I'm just talking to my friends here, seeing if there's any new places they want me to check out, or if there's any new places at all that they've found. And so far, no. Oh. But there's this lovely guild that's in the distance called the Mumbling Eagles. Apparently, they're trying to shut down Nook and Cranny, but we're here first.
Are they out of town or are they in town?
Out of town.
Out of town?
Mhm.
Mumbly English, I think, and then I go out.
You leave Nook and Cranny?
Yeah.
What? You're not gonna look for Keisu?
Yeah, that was our original point of being there. I found an adventure, so.
Okay.
Should we take Keisu with us? Fuck!
So.
Fine! I mean, I'm like, I really need to talk to Keisu. No, I really don't, but point. So I go back to my mother and ask her, "Where's Keisu? Is she here?"
I don't honestly know, but you can always check her room. You know where it is. You've bothered her enough.
Yep. I'm gonna go to her room.
So you go up to her room, and you can hear chattering on the inside. It seems to be that Anzen and Keisu are talking.
I gesture to Billy Bob to the door.
And Anzen and Keisu are both looking at the group and just like, what the hi! Oh, hi, guy.
I'm alive! I come walking.
Yeah, and you have a friend. Oh, Jesus.
I finally made Billy Bob! Look at him, he's so beautiful.
Casey's like, yeah, I know, we've met.
I'm talking Anson.
Yeah, he kind of makes me feel small.
Good.
Yeah, and Keisu tries to lift you off your feet in a bear hug, but fails to do so.
Is this too awkward or?
No, I'm like Rory went for the hug, and Keisu's trying to like show,
Okay.
yeah, trying to show like I'm the alpha. Nah, fuck it, you're too heavy. and they both look at you like we were in the middle of talking. What's up, what's up with you guys?
I just raised an eyebrow and I'm like, huh.
What?
So, I
hear that someone's give a guild called, what was it? Mumbling
Eagles.
Eagles.
Mumbling Eagles.
You should have said bumbling pigeons.
Mumbling pigeons.
The guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I've heard of it. They're a small guild, maybe like 100 people tops. I'm not too worried about them shutting us down.
Let's go on an adventure. I just go to let's go on an adventure, just whispering that to her.
K-Su's kind of like, we were kind of planning an adventure already, but it's not.
Oh my God, let's do it.
No. It's dangerous, and it's not going to be now. It's going to be maybe about 3 or 4 years from now, once we have everything prepped.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Why so long? I'm just gonna go walk over there.
You see that there's no like documents talking about this. Most of it is just more pictures that Casey has drawn. It seems to be it's just a vocal conversation between the two. And Anson's like, okay, hold on. You're being really nosy here. Okay, look, it's 3 years out, right? If we need you, we'll come contact you. But we're waiting for certain magical materials to be made before we go, just as a fail-safe. You know, if something happens, we have an easy way out.
I'm just looking at him, raising his eyebrows. It's like, but if they're not much of an issue, why do you have to wait for that long?
It takes 3 years to make it.
What are you making? Just go up to him.
Claps his hands together. A magical instrument that will help us. Don't worry about it, you little shit!
Why? Why are you clapping your hands? No, stop.
Billy Bob follows. Boom, boom, boom.
I just argue with Anson.
And Casey just stops everything and says, look, don't worry about it. It's a trip far from now. We'll come back to you whenever. Okay, is there anything else you guys need?
No, I guess not.
And then she looks at you, Rory, speaks in Draconic. Is everything okay with you?
Amelia keeps getting into really dangerous situations, and I don't want her to get hurt. I can't do this anymore. That Rory starts kind of breaking down a little bit. I thought she was dead.
Kate,
I just looking at him.
To kill her.
you see Rory and Casey hugging again, and Rory's like crying on her shoulder, and Casey's just kind of like patting her back. And
I just whispered to Anson, what the fuck is happening?
and then Billy Bob comes over and pats Rory on the back.
Oh.
And then
I pat him back.
Casey says, "It's okay. You're doing a great job because I see that she's alive now, so you're protecting her really well. If you want, maybe you can use like my bow." And she hands you the bow to like maybe fight people, or maybe like a sword or something. I mean, your claws are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty amazing. But
I
if
don't know, what's the brawler's weapon? Brass knuckles?
brass knuckles, you know,
No?
I think we might have something for you, but I have to find it. But yeah, in terms of danger and her dying, well, I don't understand how.
Oh?
She's confused on how you saw her die.
Oh, yeah.
There was this thing. We went to the boy's house. He gave me a thing. A world changed, and then when she, I think, took the necklace off, it changed back. But while I was wearing the necklace, I thought she was dead. She was dead.
You see Billy Bob behind you, opening and closing his hands together like a book. And then Keisu's like, what the hell? What? And Anzen looks at the two of you. He's like, okay, no more secrecy. What are you guys talking about? And Casey's like, shut up, Anzen. And then she would say, oh, the book came, right? Oh, the book.
Oh yes, Bad Book was there.
Okay, and she was dead. Oh, jeez, this is a lot. And she looks at you, Amelia. Amelia, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
How many fingers am I holding up? She's holding up 4.
4.
Okay, what's your name?
Amelia Sars.
What's my name?
I start like poking her.
Casey.
Boy had book. I assume she's checking to see if Amelia.
Yeah.
She's checking to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, okay. What happened, Amelia?
Ajad had the book for about 2 weeks. He killed his parents.
Whoa, wait, what?
He wanted me and them to be combined. I'm guessing the book has been sought out to take vengeance on me or something like that.
No, look, you don't just brush it aside saying, oh yeah, he killed his parents and then...
How else do you want me to say it?
And you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I was gonna be sacrificed, but yeah. I'm fine.
Where's the book? Where's the boy?
George with Grandmaster, and Grandmaster has sealed the book somewhere.
No, I threw it in the fire.
Oh yeah.
From what?
Oh, I threw it in the fire.
From what you guys can remember, when you guys came back downstairs, the book was still intact. It just had scars on it.
Oh.
You can't get rid of it easily. So I was thinking that probably the Grandmaster took it.
Okay. I will look into this for you guys. I'll try to figure out what this book is about. I guess in the meantime, it sounds like you guys have been through a lot. I say you guys just hang out, just have fun.
But adventuring is fun. Just start walking out.
And then Anzen grabs your coat, I guess. No, your
It's
shorts.
Prop
Shorts.
jacket. Oh yeah, my shorts because
Yeah.
he's fucking small.
Yep. and he would say, if I ever wanted to go adventure, I spin this compass.
Can't do an Arcana check or anything like that.
Yeah, I was about to be like, that was awfully suspicious.
Yeah, sure. Roll.
that wasn't discreet at all.
I got 19.
19 plus 5 equals 24. It's a wooden compass. It wouldn't even magnetize to the north. It just points north, south, east, or west wherever it lands on.
I'm just slowly pushing that back to him. I'm like, no thanks.
Spin it.
No.
Spin it.
Being so weird about
It's Alvin.
And then
Amelia is me.
Keisu tells Rory, Anzen wants you to spin the knob on his compass to see where you guys go. You can't understand this.
You can't tell me not to. We're speaking Draconic.
Yeah.
So I walk over to Anzen's thing and I like kind of not knowingly, hardly spin the thing.
I'm
Okay.
just like, oh god.
Roll a d8.
Have fun. I am itchy. What did I eat?
I don't know.
I ate. Huh. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah,
try.
1d8.
Ow, ow, ow. I'm itchy, I'm itchy, I'm itchy. I'm allergic to the pudding.
Okay, so
That sucks.
1,
I know,
2,
right?
3,
I bought it with
4,
free money.
5. It tells you to go south.
Alright.
So Anson says, I guess you guys are going south. Have fun. And then he closes the compass, the wooden compass.
I'm
I'm
gonna go to the
what's it called?
market to actually get an actual compass.
Okay. Luckily the market is nearby Nook and Cranny.
Mm.
You go up to the nearest person, I'm assuming. And it's a bird folk.
I go to him and ask him, do you have a compass? Walking around.
Compass.
We should check the magic shop. Translator things for me.
Do you have a compass? Yes.
Tilts its head. Do you have a compass? I asked that.
Oh, is it one of those repeating bird things?
Yes, it's a cockatoo or whatever it's called.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Can I buy some apples off you?"
I don't got any apples.
Sounds like a Drod.
Oh.
What?
Previously in your guys' adventure, you guys actually met this bird, and it was with a Drod, and he was showing you how he can decay and replenish an apple.
Yeah, I vaguely.
Wait, the board or a drawing?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I said I don't have any apples.
I don't have any apples.
Didn't you grab it?
You can leave whenever you want.
I know. I just don't. Well, I'm like, bye. And I guess I'm going into the magic store.
Take it to the magic shop. So you go to Kim's magical needs, which is the magic shop. You open a door, and you see this old woman looking back at you. And she says, "Oh, Amelia, welcome back. What do you need?"
You happen to have any compasses?
A compass for... that points to what? Your greatest foe, your weakest enemy, your lover.
We're going south, and I need to find a way back.
Boom! Billy Bob smashed his head against the doorframe again.
Sorry about him.
You're going south and you need a compass. Well, what are you seeking for? I have a magic shop, not just an ordinary compass.
Well, do you have any magic compasses that I'll need?
Of course. I mean, depends on what you want. I mean, like I said, I have one that can find you your lover. Can find you your greatest foe. Your weakest enemy.
Tap my chin for a second.
Billy Bob does the same.
Strongest foe, weakest enemy. I'm gonna go...
I would go with weakest enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna go with weakest enemy.
Or lover. one of those two is the safest choice. The strongest foe is not the safe choice.
It's not, at least not right now. Not when we're not ready.
Well, I mean, they all have their great uses, to be fair.
Let's just go on a calm adventure since that was exciting. And just get me a fucking level 1.
Okay. The level 1 will come out to be 45 gold.
Jesus. How much do I have in my thing?
45.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess I have more money at home, right?
You also have a couple of gems on you. But they're not worth too much.
Yeah. But that didn't answer my question, right?
I mean, your parents kind of give you like a weekly allowance kind of thing.
Oh, it is me. Can I give you some gold and a gem?
No. Because your gem is not worth a single gold.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'll just swap them out for 45.
Okay, here you go. I hope you find the person you seek. And you can see that it's a compass, made up of like these bluish greenish ribbons sewed into it, right? And the pin itself, oddly enough, has a heart at the tip of it that points. And the other side, it seems to be an arrow, like a Cupid arrow. And as you are holding it, it points towards Billy Bob.
I move away on the other side of Billy Bob, see if it...
No, it's pointing at Billy Bob.
I'm just like... looking at him.
It seems to me your friend here loves you.
So it's someone that loves me? I hug Billy Bob. And I'm just like... Well, I'll save this.
So you get the idea that Billy Bob loves you more than Rory.
What? I mean, I guess it's more like...
Yo, he's like, I'm his...
He is literally her child.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? And then I'm like, wait.
Running the numbers and... Okay, so you guys have a compass.
Let's go home and you gotta put all this stuff down.
Okay. So by the time you get home, it's roughly around like 5 p.m.-ish. And you put everything down. And your father was eating by himself as your mother is nowhere to be found. And he would say, "You don't plan on going anywhere, do you?"
Oh, I guess I found the person that loves me most, so I guess not. Already.
Looking at the compass, you see it's pointing at your father now.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. I just look at it and it's like, is it just because people, like, you know what I'm saying, that,
It'll point to the strongest amount of love coming at you from the room.
yes, that one. I'm just gonna study this more and go back upstairs.
Alright, good night, honey. Love you.
You having dinner?
By myself like I normally do.
Okay.
Cause my two most favorite women are always on adventures.
Wow, he sounds so sad. Does he have a glass of wine too?
Should be a bottom.
He is completely guilt tripping you and you know it.
No. I'll be down soon.
So you go upstairs. You
Yeah,
plop,
go upstairs.
plop everything down. Okay.
And come back downstairs.
Is everybody following, or is anyone staying behind? I know Billy Bob's following.
We're going to food. Come on.
Okay.
Hey, stop. Hey, damn fucking cat.
So you guys will all have a nice meal, and you see your dad smiling a lot, and he tells you all of the office jokes that's being thrown around, and you just kind of laugh along with him just to make sure he's not alone. But then he eventually sees that you're not having a good time because, you know, he can read you like a book. But he kisses your forehead and he says, "Thank you for the company. If you're going to go on any adventures, I'm not going to stop you. But just know," and then taps your goggles, "I'll always be watching."
No, I don't think I'll be going on one tonight. There's nothing really to do.
Good! Then you can do all your chores.
On second. I'm gonna have Billy Bob do it.
You can.
I mean, a 16-year-old that doesn't want to do chores. It's common. He'll probably break everything, which makes me want to do more. Makes me have to do more. So.
I mean, as far as you know right now, Billy Bob's able to read and follow the instructions.
What do I have to do?
Well, over the past few weeks that you've been gone, these have just been kind of stacking up. You need to clean the basement. There's rats down there now.
Oh.
And, you know, all the spider webs, all the dusting off all the shelves and the chairs and all that. And, you know, you gotta do your laundry and our laundry. Apparently, someone stole one of my jackets and just dirtied it. It was disgusting. So if you don't mind, you know, it is part of your chores to do some laundry. Would you please clean my jacket?
Sure.
And secondly, after you do your chores, you know, this is also considered to be part of your chores. And he drops a hefty sum of paper.
No, no.
Your homework.
But Grandmaster said I didn't have to.
Your Grandmaster Rohan said you don't have to worry about tests. This is homework. Come on, honey, you can do it. Just look how I've gone. I've done all my homework, and I am the best person you've ever met. Please say yes.
I just go back downstairs to the basement.
And start cleaning.
Yep, I have Rory get the rats, I dust, and see.
Rory gladly consumes the rats. Billy Bob tries to follow your suit. And it takes you roughly about like 3 to 4 hours to fully clean and dust every inch of this mansion. And then you realized, where the fuck are the maids and butlers?
Well, aren't they supposed to be doing this? That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna look around for them.
You know where they sleep, and like their living quarters.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the door and knock.
You knock, and the butler opens it. It's like, "Oh, Madame Amelia, how are you tonight?"
I'm doing good. I don't want to be that person. But why have my chores stacked up while I've been gone?
Oh no, Amelia, they haven't stacked up. We've been on top of things ever since you left and come back. I mean, constantly we're cleaning, but your father said he insists that we take a break just for today.
Of course he did.
And then he proceeded to dust everything. Just scatter dust everywhere. Believe me, madame, It was as horrendous to see and not do anything.
Thank you so much.
Anything for you, madame.
I turn around and mumble. Go back to doing chores.
Yeah, eventually you finish, and by this time it's nightfall. It's like 9 o'clock.
I'm just probably face down in the papers of homework and snoring.
All right, Rory. What
I've
about
been
you?
reading that book.
Okay.
The elf book.
Okay, you know how to say I need to use the bathroom in Elvish.
Woo!
And you can see that Billy Bob is cleaning up Amelia's room, and then he eventually picks her up and puts her in bed and tucks her in. And then sits down next to you, and it puts a thumb up.
I thought him.
And eventually you would fall asleep. During your rest, you start having these nightmares, Rory.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
PTSD!
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck.
Pretty much. You see Amelia, getting cut, and then the image flashes, and then she's getting impaled, and then you just see blood, and then the image flashes again, and you see that she's on the ground, completely motionless, and you try running to her, but she slowly gets further and further away from your reach. And then eventually this large orange eye appears. And then you wake up. You wake up in sweat.
Sit up, gasping. Immediately looks over, goes to Amelia's bed, looks at her.
See you slapping me. I'm gonna be super honest.
You see Amelia is half covered by the blanket, one leg dangling off the edge, tongue sticking out.
No. Snoring.
I lift up the blanket just to check. No battle wounds, no nothing.
Billy Bob tucks her leg back in. Seems to be that he's been watching her all night. And looking about the time, it's roughly 4 a.m.
I don't go back to sleep. I just watch Amelia.
Okay. So eventually, Amelia, you wake up to two large figures looking down on you.
I'm just getting it deep in the bed, just sprawled out
Billy Bob gives you a nice wave.
I hug her.
I'm like, what you guys doing? I'm patting her back.
Billy Bob joins the group hugs and proceeds to lift both of you in the air. He's not letting you guys down.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay, boy, let go. Just patting.
It drops immediately. You're still in Rory's arms.
I just... I don't even fight it anymore.
I let go.
You can see that, oh. What the fuck?